All About the Birds provides you with weekly analysis, game recaps, informative interviews, and it's all birds all the time.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the post-game recap. Well, the recap of the game from Sunday, which was not very good if you were an Eagles fan. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to switch over, and we are going to discuss the Eagles matchup on Black Friday against the Chicago Bears. So, 2-in-1 show here tonight, and we're with you here. So it's time to break down the wonderful game that we saw on Sunday there. But the tough part of it here, and I'll quickly give you mine, is it was a tale of, well, really one quarter, because there was no tale of two halves, because they scored everything within the first quarter and then a couple minutes into the second quarter. And it just, everything fell off the face of the earth, it seems like. To me, it's just the offense looked good to start, and it was, eye-opening, thinking, okay, let's see this. We're seeing a lot of empty. We were seeing a lot of 11 personnel. We were seeing some different things and stuff that we've kind of been talking about, and seeing more Cam Latu in the game now. Only one running play with him, but seeing a lot more of him in the game. Seeing some differences, different stuff that they were doing. Defense was still doing what they usually have been doing the last couple of games, but just the total meltdown was just so aggravating. And I could see it. Once they started scoring, the Eagles offense started to become stagnant. You started to get to that trend of like, oh, here we go.
I felt it. I said it to my wife. I was like, dude, we're losing this game. Listen, like it's funny because as you're talking, I'm thinking, if you look at these stats that are on the screen here, you would think it was a blowout win by us, right? You got A.J. Brown with 110 yards, and didn't he have 2 touchdowns?
A.J. had 1. The second touchdown was incomplete, and then Jalen ran it in.
That's right. And Devontae Smith had that crazy levitation catch, and Nakobe Dean had his 3rd strip sack of the year, and in 3 straight games, Jalen Hurts 289 yards and a touchdown plus 2 rushing. Like, you would think that we crushed them, right? And that first offense, like you said, I remember hitting you up in the chat and saying, "Holy shit!" Like, we just saw crosshairs, we saw empty. It felt like everything we were asking for, including the offense, or including the defense, and then injuries started to pile up.
Yep.
I never thought Adoree Jackson going down would be a bad thing. But it made a significant difference on this defense because Coop was either not prepared or just unlucky as hell against Pickens, and it just didn't that configuration did not seem to do well. The pass rush wasn't getting home towards the end of that game. It just I don't know. It really was 2 different teams, and you could feel the momentum snowballing in the wrong direction. So, but there was some positive stuff. Like I just don't. I wish Patullo could put that offense on the field for a game. Like, I don't understand why we got to run away from it. Braden Mann was back to his old form. I mean, he boomed the shit out of like 2 70-yard punts, basically. I don't know. It was a weird game. 14 penalties. It just, the whole thing seemed to just pile up and pile up and pile up. It was one of those games where you're just like, oh, it's going to be one of those uncharacteristic fumbles. It's just, strange game.
So, the one thing I want to bring up here. The one, what did you say?
So, what are you chuckling at?
No, I'm going through, taking a look at everything here. Just looking through the stats and looking through the different play charts and all that. But then you talking, me kind of reliving it, kind of like you were saying. And just like you look at it, they up 21-7 at half. They get the ball back. You had the first play was an 8-yard route to Calcaterra. Second play was a beautiful route to Dallas Goedert, which was over 30 yards. He was in Dallas territory, and it got called back from a flag. And then they had 2 incompletions. And it's just like, okay. But it's just like time and time again, it's just the constant beating themselves. If it's not all these, putting yourself behind the sticks, it's just like you can't run the ball. You can't do anything that. But like the thing is they had the ball, and unfortunately, you had the missed field goal, and then the Saquon fumble. You were in territory. Probably were going to at least get a field goal.
Yeah.
And then you stop their offense, which was great. Then you get the punt and you fumble that. Then you stop them on 4 downs. I'm surprised they didn't get a field goal there, which was very surprising. But you get the ball back, essentially right there, and then you have to work your way down the field. And the thing about working your way down the field, they're doing it, and then it's 3rd and 2.
Yeah. And
I keep coming back to this. It's 3rd and 2. You're in Dallas's territory here. I just don't understand. I know you're not getting much in terms of the run game, but the way I see it is, why not spread everybody out? And if you want to do a QB draw, maybe try and get a yard or 2.
Just fucking tush push it.
Or do that.
Like, I just like you.
They've gone
I feel like,
I don't know if it's because they think they're going to be false starts being called, and it'll be totally.
It's better than a 12-yard sack.
Yeah.
Like, just I don't understand. There must have been some sort of mandate from the NFL. It's like you can run it twice a game. Like there must be some sort of cap, because we haven't seen it much since the I don't remember what game that was. Maybe the Packers game, or the Vikings game, where there was the big hoopla about the false starts and us leaving early. I think that was the Vikings game or the Packers game.
I think it was the Vikings. The Packers, there was one, but the Vikings game, I think there was more.
Yeah, I just there must be something that's
the Giants game. It was the Giants game after the Vikings game.
Whatever it was.
But I know what you mean.
There must be something where they're like, you need to chill because it's bad for the league or something. Because Nick Sirianni last year runs that twice if he has to. But like even leaving up to that 3rd and 2, I'm probably gonna get shit for this, but like Saquon decided to get cute with it on that little swing pass where
trying to juke instead of just going forward and getting a couple yards
and make it 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
If it's 3rd and 1, I bet we tush push it.
Yeah.
But like Saquon in 24 lowers his shoulder and gets another 4 yards. Like that's a first down, and you're likely bleeding the clock out and getting a field goal attempt.
Yeah.
There are little things that just were uncharacteristic. Saquon didn't hit the hole there. There was that weird the ref decided to not stop the call on the substitution.
Yeah, that was interesting.
On that Dean pick.
Even
Vic mentioned it today in his presser. Said like, hey, the ref started going up to stop the play because they get an opportunity to make a substitution if there's a substitution on offense. But the ref was just like, I guess I'm just going to let this go. And then, Bond drops a pick. We have that ridiculous fumble that A, shouldn't have been fumbled, and B, shouldn't have been returned at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
It was just to your point. It was, and the Goddard catch that was called back. There was just a ton of just stupid, dumb, unfocused shit that kept killing drives, and that's why like I'm not as like head on a stake for KP this week, because I felt like the plays were there. Like we were making the plays. The offense, at least in the first half, looked good.
There was so much execution errors.
It wasn't even execution. It was just dumb penalties.
Well, being stupid too. But the execution aspect, with the blocking and the offensive line, it's just like, the thing that bothers me about it is, Jordan has his radio show and everything, and it says it's execution. We have to. All right, it's been said for about 6-7 weeks now. It's either you could do it or you can't, and somebody else may need to do it. Yeah. And the one thing I tried to take a look at, and I've thought about it the last couple of weeks in regards to Tyler Steen. The way he does the snap and the way he, taps the center to get the snap, in my opinion, like when you watch him, he's standing straight up. Then he goes and then he kind of crouches down a little bit. But if they're running the ball, he's at a point where he's a lot higher than he should be.
Yeah.
And it's always low man wins. This isn't let's see how high we can get. And I just feel like being at a crouch position, like I don't remember him doing it like that last year when he subbed in for a game or two, or when he came in. I don't remember him standing up straight up like that.
And it's not just that; it's on his pulls too. Yeah. He's coming in soft and he's coming in high. He's getting blown up at the point of attack and just clogging up holes. He has not.
Cam's missing guys. He's going too much. Like there's too much, and it's like we give Stout all the credit in the world. He's got to take this one from what. And I don't want to hear the excuses of, well, they're beat up and they're injured and they played a long season last year. I don't care.
Either shouldn't be playing.
They shouldn't be playing. This isn't. Yeah. I don't want a 50% Cam Jurgens or 60% Cam Jurgens. Give me 100% Brett Toth. We still can't say his name right, but give me him. Yeah. Like at this point, like
or a full week of prior. I know. Yeah. To your point, Cam has been a liability.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say, but I mean, there was a stat that came out this week that said he's the third worst pass blocking center in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the thing is, 29 out of 32.
I know he's had a couple have been dinged up, but the back surgery keeps coming into my mind. Like backs are not nothing to the knee,
and like he's just you could see it in the practice videos. I sent you a practice video. It's like it didn't even look like he could stand on it.
Yeah, and then Landon's injury early in the year. They should have not had him even play. Let him heal up because who knows how much that's still affecting him.
Yeah,
it's just. There's too much.
Landon has not been great, but he's been the better of the three that we just talked about.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, Steen and Jurgens just
had a
seems
good
like
start for the year, but he, for whatever reason, he has no interest in contact.
Yeah, it just seems. I think a lot of it has to do with the way he does that snap and just the way he stands straight up. Like
it's even
to me,
it's pulling though. Like my biggest problem with him right now, like he's actually a pretty good pass blocker because he was a left and a right tackle at Bama, but like when he pulls, he is getting blown up. Like he just tries to like patty cake the defender instead of just imposing his will and squashing him.
Tell you right now, I would not be surprised if they go to interior offensive line or a tackle in the first round of the draft next year.
Oh, 100%.
Because, the depth there is going to be needed with free some of these players. Or free agency, exactly. Yeah. But, this game just was it was
the scheme was not the problem. And I think it's the first time all year where I can say, I mean, of course, there were times where it's like we're running all hitches.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Like that's still a problem, but I still saw a lot of.
But I think too, if on that 3rd and 2 play, if Goddard doesn't sit down and keeps running, his route and doesn't sit down on the route, I think Jalen has an opportunity to throw it to him.
Yeah.
But once he sat down, you had, the hitch. It's just.
I mean, there was a video. There was a video of the defensive end or edge rusher. On like a zone fire where he just immediately turns and runs to a spot and perfectly ran the slant route for AJ Brown.
Yeah.
An edge rusher. Like it's too predictable to your point. Like there's still issues. Don't get me wrong. Like KP should be out of here. But I don't think he was even the top 3 reasons for that loss on Sunday.
No. I would agree with you there. It wasn't. There was a lot more that comes, into play for that. But yeah, all in all, it's just, and maybe this is a type of loss that they needed to open up their eyes in terms of certain things. I don't know.
Who knows?
You know,
I think we found out that Coop is not an outside corner.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, that's a tough matchup, but
to me, I think he strives at in the nickel and in the slot and being able to close to the line of the scrimmage, helping in the run game, helping in those slant pass, those short, flat routes, and because he can tackle. And I think that just suits him, so much better in that aspect. And
well, I think him and the coverage ability of Bond and at times Jahad Campbell, I think like we've talked about this multiple times, that those two were the cog to the defense last year of becoming great.
Yeah.
Like once those two hit their stride, like that was it. And I think it's still the same thing. Like I think those two are what keeps this engine running on defense and taking away those pass lanes and making it difficult for quarterbacks to do what they want to do, especially in the middle of the field. So I think they need to keep him on the inside if at all possible. Like if Jackson goes down again, I'm rolling with Bennett or Ringo. Yeah,
especially it's tough. Makuba having the ankle fracture, so he's going to be done for a while.
Thanks,
and
Sid.
We'll see where that goes. Which
I'm interested to see him what he does this week.
Yeah, we'll see. It's his time. But brings us to the good old preview.
Look at that sweet background. Look at that sweet transition.
Yes, I know. It's nice there. So now the Eagles get to play a short week, which sometimes may be pretty good because you can kind of forget about the week and get to the next game. And they have the Chicago Bears coming in. Bears are 8-3 as well. And again, this is another huge game in terms of seeding because if the Eagles can get this W, then they have the head-to-head tiebreakers against the Bears, the Packers, the Lions, the Rams, the Bucks. I know the Bucks have been struggling and they're not even in. Well, they're in first place again now, but I'm just saying, most of the top teams in the NFC right now in the playoff positioning, they have the head-to-head over. So it's going to be interesting. The Bears are dealing with a ton of injuries. I know the Eagles, we talked a little bit about the Eagles' injuries with Makuba being placed on IR, Covey being added to the 53. We know about the Lane injury. We already know, Gibson was banged up. Adoree Jackson, he may play, may not. I guess he's fine.
Jackson is off
we'll
the
see.
injury report as of today.
That's a good thing. But the thing is, the Bears injuries, taking a look now, they do have a couple guys in terms of Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson who can be elevated off the IR. I'm not sure if it's going to be this week or it's going to be next week.
I think they will.
Which means they got to make some roster moves, which could be those players who are DNPs going to IR, like they put Tremaine Edwards last week on IR.
Yeah.
TJ Edwards is on. He did not practice. I believe Noah Sewell did not practice. Ruben Hippolyte did not practice. So taking a look, and those are the guys that I had mentioned are their linebackers, which is a super thin unit right now because let me take a look here. So it looks like TJ Edwards and Noah Sewell were the starters after Tremaine Edwards was IR'd, which now also Tyreek Stevenson, I believe. I think he was not practicing as well, which is one of the corners, which could lead to that, what you were saying with having, Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon activated. Our old friend CJ GJ plays nickel for them, but going back to the linebackers,
and Mayshawn Wright, I think, is on the league lead for interceptions.
Yeah.
They're not a bad defense. They got Grady Jarrett,
super long corner,
Montez Sweat, Austin Booker.
Their pass rush has struggled. Their run defense has not been very good. Even having Dexter and Grady Jarrett.
Yeah,
Grady Jarrett is not the best run stuffing defensive tackle.
He's a little bit older now.
Yeah. So taking a look here, Ruben Hippolyte, if he doesn't play, Yeah, our old friend Kevin Byard. Yep. So TJ Edwards, Noah Sewell, and Ruben Hippolyte are the three essentially linebackers there. So, which now brings us to the linebackers who potentially could play, and that is DeMarco Jackson, Amen Ogbo. Wow, this is going to be a hard one.
Don't even do it.
Ogbong Bemega and Carl Jones Jr.
Sorry. Yeah, that's a lot easier to say.
And then on their practice squad, you have Jalen Reeves-Maben, who's a veteran. Potentially, I know they just signed him last week.
Yeah,
He potentially could play, and then again, he could be activated for a special teams role if these other guys have to play a bigger role. So they have that, and then I do see also Dominique Robinson, which is one of their backup defensive ends, did not practice.
Yeah, they got some shuffling.
And they've got some pretty decent players on IR. We already talked about the two corners, but you take a look at Braxton Jones. I believe he can be elevated. I'm not 100% sure. Kieran Omega G. I can't even say that name. That's a tough one.
Odiegbo.
Odiegbo. He's on IR as well. So they've got a lot of guys that are on IR because now they're starting. I know he was banged up. I think he's going to start, but their left tackle is Theo Benedette, a college free agent from last year. Now Trapilo, who they drafted in the second round, is the backup. But they do have Joe Tooney, Drew Dolman, Jonah Jackson,
Boston College guy, right?
Yes, Trapilo's the Boston College guy. But it's going to be
Jackson
interesting
from the Bengals,
the Rams.
Darnell Wright, who they took instead of Jalen Carter.
He's been somewhat okay. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's had a good year this year.
But it's going to be interesting to see who they play because, if they're going and they're going to activate any of these guys, you're probably going to see a couple of those guys who are not practicing go into IR to clear up some of those spots. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do as well. Again, they could also hold these guys out for another week and, call up a couple practice squad guys.
That'd be neat. Nice. I'd love to not play Jalen Johnson because he is a pain in the butt with AJ Brown. He matches up with him very well. He has historically given him fits.
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah. So that would be neat if he did not play. I think I just lost my man. That damn Wi-Fi. We'll give him a second to pop on. The other thing to consider here while I wait for Johnny is the weather this week. It's going to be another rainy, windy day, similar to what we had against, who was it? A couple weeks ago. Our last home game. But something to keep in mind. This is going to be a cold weather running game. There he is.
I'm going to plug my charger in, so give me a second here. It came out of the...
We were talking about, I was talking about how the weather might be a factor this week and how I would assume that the run games would be the focal point for both sides. So look for DeAndre Swift, who's having a good year, to make some noise. Kyle Monangai out of Rutgers, another hard runner, reminds me of Pacheco. So they've got some decent running backs and a much improved offensive line. So I would assume that they're going to come out and try to establish the run early and often. I would hope that we would do the same thing, especially with some of these injuries and deficiencies on their front seven. And I would assume that throwing the ball is going to be kind of a pain in the ass with projected to be 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. So
taking a look now, it's going to be sunny out, which, there's going to be no precipitation, but it's going to be sunny.
I thought I heard it was supposed to rain.
No.
Okay.
Philly weather, sunny, 19-mile-an-hour wind, sustained winds.
There it is.
It's going to feel like 32 around 3 o'clock. Now the game will probably go into 6, 7 o'clock, which will be in the mid 30s, and 15-mile-an-hour winds would probably gust over 30 miles an hour. So
which is not that big of a deal when you're Chicago, as it is for like the Lions or the Vikings coming out of the
no. It's the thing about it is this though. If the Eagles can get their run game going, it's going to help them so tremendously in terms of being able to establish that and then be able to work off of, some short intermediate throws and stuff along the lines of that. Now the one thing is, it may not like hurt Chicago in terms of they play in the Windy City and we know that, but they like to throw a lot of deep passes. They like to go deep. They like some splash plays. Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, they've got some guys that can do those types of splash
Luther
plays.
Burden is no
Burden,
slouch. Yeah.
Cole Kmet, and they have Loveland. So there's a lot that they can do. But if the winds are like that, potentially it may be a little tough to spread the ball down the field like that so easily. Now I know Caleb Williams has a heck of an arm too, so
how's our kicker?
That'll help. Isn't it Santos, Cairo Santos? Which I don't think he's.
The kicking game's going to be an issue as well.
Big time.
And
kicking game and the punting game.
Yeah, and one thing that I don't think a lot of people consider when dealing with bad weather, especially wind, is hearing the calls. Yeah. Especially with like already tapped in crowd noise for the link. That wind makes it difficult. Sound doesn't carry as much as it would in a dome or on a neutral field. So definitely get loud if you're going to be there. Get as loud as you can. Disrupt that offensive line and that quarterback. But like to your point, the keys of the game, I wrote, we got to disrupt their offensive line. We have to limit the scrambles because I think that's been a huge thorn in our side this year, especially against Jackson Dart and Mahomes. Mm-hmm. We got to limit the big plays because I think, and that kind of goes with the scrambles, right? Because Caleb likes to do a lot of dancing behind the line of scrimmage, and he's hard to bring down, and he makes a lot of off-schedule plays. So limit those big plays, limit the scrambles, and then ultimately stop the run game. If you stop that run game and force him to be one-dimensional, I think you can force Caleb into making some pretty bad throws. I mean, he almost threw the Steelers like 3 or 4 picks that were dropped last week. So, I think there's potential there with our faster edges to give him some problems.
So, I wanted to bring this up too. Is like looking at the last 5 games the Bears have played. So they lost 30-16 against the Tyler Huntley-led Ravens. Now, also mind you, they're 8-4, and they have a minus 3-point differential. Remember that.
Yeah.
So again, they beat the Ravens they lost to the Ravens 30-16, led by Tyler Huntley in Baltimore. They beat the Bengals in that back and forth game.
That was a sick game. That was a great
47-42.
A couple weeks ago.
I don't think it was a Thursday night game. I don't think it was a Sunday game.
It was a primetime game, right?
I thought it was a regular Sunday 1 o'clock.
I could have sworn it was a primetime game, but I remember watching that game and thinking to myself, like, holy smokes, like what a game. They
beat the Giants 24-20. They beat the Vikings 19-17, and of course, last week they beat the Steelers 31-28.
Listen, those are good wins. A win's a win.
No. Listen, they are good wins, but the way that I'm essentially bringing it up to you is if you look at, we'll say, the last 3 games. So the last 3 games, now if we look at defense to defense, so we know the Eagles defense has played a lot better. Chicago's given up about 21.7 points per game, which, listen, that's pretty respectable. It's somewhat middle of the pack.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to bring up is I will find the stat here because I think the one thing that you can, especially if those three linebackers don't play and you got those type of practice squad type of players playing linebacker, I think there is a big time emphasis and a big time key to be able to potentially get some big runs and be able to establish that run game. And I think that is huge when you take a look at, the Philadelphia Eagles and what they need to do and what they were able to do last year, but not essentially they're not able to do it this year, is run the ball. So Chicago is 28th in the NFL all season, giving up 138.1 rushing yards per game. The last 3 games, they've given up an average of 156.7.
Holy smokes.
Which again is 28th. They gave up 186 rushing yards to the Steelers last week. And at home, they only give up 128, but on the road, they've given up 146.5 rushing yards per game.
Okay. Yeah.
So, that's, a pretty big stat because they are also, see, the one thing about them is this. They are a super, super opportunistic defense. They can cause turnovers. But if the Eagles are playing smart and they're not turning the ball over, you're going to be able to gash the Bears. You're going to be able to move the ball down the field. You're going to be able to do all that.
Yeah.
And, the biggest thing with that is being able to score in the red zone, which the Eagles have done pretty well at. And so Chicago has given up, let me see here. So it looks like all season, 227.4 passing yards per game. It's 12th in the NFL. 12th worst. So it's about 20th.
Yeah.
In the NFL. Now the last 3, they've only given up 209.7, but that is because they're giving up so many rushing yards. So there you have the counter between the two. But to me, I think the biggest key is for the Eagles, it's establishing that run game, whether it's a little sprinkle of Tank Bigsby and some Jalen running and some Saquon. To me, I think you have to really, and I think the one thing that could really help this game is a little bit of the RPO. Because with inexperienced linebackers and guys who don't usually play a lot, you can really be able to influence their defense and to be able to do certain things using a little bit of the RPO action. So I'm very curious to see what they do.
Yeah. And and to that point, I think play action should be an emphasis. Yes. Like Green Bay didn't happen to bite on that, but they have really good linebackers. If you're playing against backups like we're anticipating, any type of trickeration, for lack of a better term, like anything that's going to keep them a little off schedule is definitely to our advantage. Yeah. But again, I tweeted this out. I've tweeted it multiple times. Tank deserves more play.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily a Saquon thing. I think there are times where he's not seeing it well, but I also think it's just unfortunately not being blocked up well. I also don't think he's finishing runs the way that we would like him to. We already touched on that in the Dallas game. I think he could have run for that first down that led to a 3rd and 2 and ultimately led to a sack. I'm sure he's beating himself up about that. But I'd like to see a little change of pace. Anytime you can get fresh legs on the field, especially towards the end of the game in like a 4-minute offense and wear teams down, which is what I thought. And we talked about A.J. Dillon potentially being for this team prior to the trade for Tank. Do it. Let's wear these dudes down. Let's get back on track. Let's get the run game going. Let's get the 2-headed monster going. Sprinkle in some Shipley, and let's go, man. We should be able to run on these guys.
It doesn't hurt to be able to give Tank some run, some play, and even having Tank and Saquon on the field at the same time.
Little pony package. Done.
You have the players to be able to do different things, and you to be able to make these defenses, a little off kilter, a little bit on edge, you have the players and the personnel to be able to do that kind of stuff. It needs to start happening. I need to start seeing it.
Come out in a wishbone.
Yeah,
Come out in a wishbone. Throw Latu in at fullback with Saquon and Tank and see what happens.
I'd like to see more.
I guarantee the other team would be like, what?
I'd like to see more.
I haven't seen this since I played Navy. Just throw some weird shit at them and see what happens.
So
I'm in.
I need to see some different stuff. I need
to see them just dominate. That's what I need. I need to feel better about this team and know that they can dominate, that they can impose their will. Like there were times last year where I'd be like half joking, where I'd be like, "Oh, here comes a 7-minute touchdown drive," and they did, and they rattle off we had one against the Steelers last year that was what
it ended. It was 8 minutes. There was 8 minutes left in the game.
It was like 12 minutes. It was like look it up. Like it was a ridiculous amount of time. It was like an 18 play, like 12-minute, 17-minute drive. I'll see if I think
that's the one that they started down like inside their 5 or something, or inside the 10 at least.
It was ridiculous. Here we go.
They ended the game with like an 8-minute
drive. Leave it up to Rube to have an article about this. He's awesome. So, Shaylin Carter, 10 minutes, 29 seconds remaining, and 98 yards of field. And they rattled off a where is it? They wound up bleeding the clock, so at least 10.5 minutes on game clock.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
Well, it's. I'd like to see something. Listen, I'd like to see something like that. I think that could and it sucks because you've seen it certain drives, like the beginning of that Green Bay game. That drive was a great drive that ended up in a fumble. Like there's been emphasis of it, and it's so close, but then it just doesn't come to fruition. Speaking of being that close, wonderful segment that we always like to do.
It's time for the Eureka Locks of the week. Who's your lock?
Alrighty, so our locks last week, of course our predictions were wrong. Knew I should have went with Dallas. I was going to pick them, and I didn't. After that game, I did think also, I'll touch on it, I was thinking Chicago, but then the more as the week kind of came and injury reports and all that kind of stuff, I kind of may have come to my senses. But you had, of course, Duquesne beating Robert Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And Central Connecticut losing. You were wrong. You got half of that right.
I was half wrong. Let's point that out. Duquesne won. The Dukes handled the Colonials.
Okay. Whatever.
You're looking up your Mountain Pigeon score?
Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm right. I'm right. Okay. So
I'm right.
I had Lehigh beating Lafayette.
Right. I'm always right.
By 10. Eagles. Mountain Hawks won 42-32. They won exactly by 10. So you're just jealous, which, by the way, they got absolutely screwed with the 5 seed. They're 12-0, and they beat the Ivy League champion, Yale Bulldogs, 31-13 earlier this year.
Wow.
They beat Richmond. They beat Lafayette, who was ranked.
Against Yale.
You look up Tarleton State, and you tell me what statement win they had. Ooh, they beat Army at the beginning of the year. First game. That was their only statement win. Otherwise, they played a bunch of their cupcake conference teams. But okay, whatever. Also, we should have a Penn State coach by the weekend. So
yeah, you think?
I'm thinking, yeah, or at worst by Tuesday.
Give me. What are you thinking? Why? What do you know that I don't?
Just saying.
Wow. All right. Someone's got a scoop.
No, I don't have a scoop.
Yeah, Johnny's got a scoop.
The scoop's as reliable as my kids' play set ice cream upstairs.
You got a Frito scoop.
Yeah. Frito scoop with chili.
Yo, Frito scoops are the shit.
So it brings us to our You Like a Lock this week. I'll let you go.
No,
what is
you were right? Ladies first, since you were right.
Okay, I'll go first.
If you take mine, I'm going to stab you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going with this game. So I'm not sure if you're going with this game. I'm not going to go with this game. I'm going to go with one of the games on Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go with the game of the Packers and the Lions.
Ooh. Okay.
And I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. They are going to beat the Green Bay Packers by at least 2 scores.
At least 2 scores.
So 10 points would be 2 scores.
Yeah. No, I know how football works. Yep.
Some people think when they think 2 scores, they think 2 touchdowns. I just wanted to clarify it.
I got
just
you.
so I can clarify myself.
No, I appreciate that.
All right. What is your You Like a Lock?
I'm going this game because I feel it, and I'm really pissed off from this Dallas game. I need to feel better about this team. My You Like a Lock is that Saquon Barkley will have 2 touchdowns this week. 2 touchdowns. That's a bold one.
It is bold.
We should really call this bold predictions and not locks, but I'll take it. That's not a lock at all.
Which brings us now to the game itself, which I'll let you start with since I started with You Like a Locks.
Yeah. There's nothing about this team that screams blowout until they prove otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to continue the trend of a close game. I do think the Eagles win this game. I think they're pissed off. I think they're hungry. I think they're finally at home playing against a banged-up Bears team. I think they're going to come out on top with a 28-20 victory.
Okay. Alrighty. So, did a little research. The Eagles will be wearing their all black. Everything all black uniforms. So, the Eagles' record in all black is 17-5. Now, that is all black. That's not counting white pants or green pants. Because their record in all...
How many of those were in Week 18 though against
the Giants?
I feel like most of the times we wear black, it's against the Giants, and like Week 18 we already got it sealed.
There's been a couple of those actually.
Yeah.
More than not, but
so their record is probably better than 17-5, is what you're saying. Like really,
no.
if you take those scrub games out of it.
No, because they've won those scrub games. The last loss in all black was the Christmas Eve against the Dallas Cowboys in 2023.
Yeah.
A game that they should have won. Again. Because otherwise, if you take a look at the last time they lost, unfortunately, was in 2018 at home against the Dallas Cowboys. So and then of course they lost in 2016 to Green Bay in all black. So again, 17-5 is a hell of a record. I have the Eagles winning 31-20.
Wow.
Because I also took a look. When the Eagles wear black jerseys and green pants, they're 0-2. And when they wear black jerseys and white pants, I believe they are 7-5.
Oh, not great.
So the all black though is 17-5. And that's why I'm going Philadelphia Eagles 31-20.
Nice. I like it. So we've both got decent spreads of victory here. We're both fairly confident that this will be.
I think the running game will be able to get going. Yeah. I think that is something that I think is going to happen. So to me, that's why I have that. But I thought that stat was pretty interesting. And I went through like all the games, a lot of New York Giants, which you are correct. Actually,
we love the black uniforms against the Packers and the Giants.
The funny thing is, can you name me now? Of course, it's not going to be this year since the Eagles have already played the Giants twice. Other than this year, when was the last time the Eagles did not play the Giants wearing any black?
2022.
Incorrect. They wore 2020. They wore 2024 last year. They wore the black jerseys, of course. The day game, Tanner McKee.
Against the Cowboys.
No, against the Giants. After
Yeah.
Pickett got hurt the week prior, McKee started that game.
Giants games, right?
I said non-Giants games.
Right.
2024, They played the Giants. They were in all black.
Yeah.
23, they wore. 2022, they wore. 21, they wore against them. 2020, they wore it against them. 2019, 2018, 2017, when they won the Super Bowl, they played Denver Broncos, which they annihilated.
Broncos.
And they played Christmas Day.
That was the Corey Clement breakout game.
It was. And then they played Christmas Day against the Oakland Raiders. That was the last time they did not play.
That Raiders game had me in a panic.
Yeah, they almost lost that game.
Malcolm Jenkins single-handedly won them that game. I think
Marshawn Lynch fumble.
He had 2 forced fumbles in that game. Now that, speaking of which, Malcolm Jenkins will be inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame.
Him and
Friday.
Unfortunately, Bucko Kilroy has passed on. So, but Bucko Kilroy and Malcolm Jenkins will be in the Eagles Hall of Fame. And I'll leave you with this: since 2017, the Eagles are 13-2 in all black. So
since when?
Since 2017.
13-2.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I mean, the Kelly Greens are the only ones that have a better.
They're 5-1. Right, 5-1. Yeah. Should be 6 now. But
don't even get me started.
Sorry. So we have that. I thought that was a fun little stat, which I probably will post.
Yeah.
I'll probably post that up tomorrow. Fun little stat there.
You know who has great? I'm trying to find his Twitter account. There's one guy in particular that I follow that is terrific at uniform stats.
Oh, isn't it I don't know if it's the NFL like fashion.
No.
_NFL. I know he always posts about
Dennis Selman, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yes.
He's pretty good about. He has some amazing stats about the Eagles, but he's pretty good about what we. Here we go. Black on black. Under Nick Sirianni, black on black, they are 6-1. Kelly Green, so that's a winning percentage of almost 86%. Kelly Green on gray is 5-1, so 83%. White on midnight green, so white tops, midnight green pants, 10-2. Under Nick Sirianni. That's an underrated matchup. They are 83% there. White on white is another good one, 8-2. I mean, granted, this has been like one of our winningest eras of football, so they're all pretty good under Sirianni, but still noteworthy nonetheless. White on white, 8-2. That's 80%. White on black, 7-3 at 70%. And then midnight green on white is 26-17 at 60%, which is still pretty good. Like, I would take that. Just interesting stats, man. If you haven't followed him, Deniz, I believe, and I'm apologies if I'm butchering your name here. Deniz Selman, Selman, 33. So at Deniz Selman 33. Check him out. He's got some great stats. If you're listening, thank you.
One of the coolest stats, which I may do a little more compiling, is the Philadelphia Eagles in their 5 NFC championships. Or no, 4 NFC championships, right? No. Yeah, 4 NFC championships. There were 2 Super Bowl titles. They wore green.
Yep.
And their NFC championship victories. So 80, 04, 17, 22, 24, 5.
We've only worn green in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And NFC championship games, they've only won in green.
Midnight, and listen, I will die on the hill that the midnight green uniforms, and that includes the white, the black, the midnight green, They are one of the most underrated closets in the NFL.
I would agree with you.
They have not changed much since, I'd say, 2000, right? They're a lot different than they were in 96.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they are classic, and they've upheld the time. I love them. I think they're
I would
so
agree with
good.
you. And I think next year we need to see the white Kelly Greens, but we'll hopefully see that as the time comes.
So we have not filed for any new uniforms. There have been multiple teams that have. The Eagles are not one of them.
Well,
But
this isn't a new uniform.
File.
Yeah.
You only have to file for new uniforms. If it's an exact replica of a throwback, you do not have to file for a new uniform. So you could do the exact replica of the Kelly white or Kelly green white uniforms, and that's why we didn't have to file for the word mark on the jerseys, because it's the same template, just different word mark.
Yep.
Anyway,
so
if I hear anything different, I'll let everybody know.
And that's good. And as we always do, we always end it with a very happy and joyful "Go Birds!"
Go Birds! Calcaterra sucks.
This is Matt Ware. Hey, for all the Eagle content you need, go follow All About the Birds. They do a damn thing. Check them out.
Hey, Eagles fans, I may be in Tampa, but I know where to find the best Eagles content out there. Check out my friends at All About the Birds.
Philadelphia, what's up? This your boy Freddie Mitchell, a.k.a. Fred X. It's all about the bird.
All birds all the time. All birds all the time.
All About the Birds provides you with weekly analysis, game recaps, informative interviews, and it's all birds all the time.